What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Outside the Clutch. Tonight, we're going to have a special one. There's going to be a lot of attitude, a lot of advice, a lot of, if you know what I mean. It's going to be a great night. I'm super excited. I had the pleasure of meeting this couple at the McQueenie, Texas Reptile Expo. We actually were back to back to each other. We just vibed really well. I've really appreciated their support and like getting to know this couple. And when I say a power couple, it's in more than one way, and you're about to learn that. So I'm super excited to bring them to you tonight. We're going to talk big snakes. It's something that I'm going back to. My wife's going to kill me for this, especially if she listens to this episode. She doesn't know I have plans, but I think I'm gonna breed like a pairing a year. I'm gonna get my ass chewed for that, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I love Retics. So I have a soft spot for Retics. We're gonna be talking to DNT Retics, Dax and Taylor. And before we do that, y'all know how much husbandry is important to me. You know how much I appreciate the support of those that really give a crap about their husbandry. And with such, it's all about giving back to our sponsors. With our sponsors, all the money that we make, I've put this out before, all the money that we make from our sponsors on this podcast goes directly to USARC. I'm actually looking at other ways to implement that. I'm talking with some of the sponsors to see if we could do, instead of paying me directly, we start giving memberships for USARC to people, or so we could put out promotions for you to become a USARC member or things like that. But it's very important for me to grow USARC. It's very important for my sponsors to grow USARC, and it's very important for you to take care of your animals, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. Best way to do that is to have the right equipment. Here at Outside the Clutch, we're honored to be sponsored by VivTech. Are you ready for innovation? Tired of the same boring product that's been used for 30 years? Ready to give your reptiles and amphibians the UV they really deserve? Then look no farther than VivTech. Their 3-watt LED bulbs provide the UV rays your animals have been missing. With 3 bulbs to fit your pet's climate needs, plus a dimmable feature, it's the only bulbs we use for UV. And it's the only bulb with a 2-year warranty in the industry. Plus, now you can monitor all your pet's husbandry from your phone 24/7 with their sensors, and even ship your customers' animals in their custom bags. So what are you waiting for? Go to VivTechProducts.com today, use code FCLUTCH0322 for 15% off, and provide your animals the best care they've ever had. And you know we all about that shit. Are you ready for the best coconut substrate in the game? Then you gotta get ReptiChip. First off, it's America's chip because it's veteran owned. Secondly, why wouldn't you want the best cocoa chip for your animals? Go to ReptiChip.com, use code FeelyChippin for 10% off 2 breeder blocks, or reach out to me as a local representative in the El Paso area. And don't forget to join the Reptilution, where all profits go to helping those in need within the reptile community. And finally, we're trying to push these guys at DNT to do this circuit too. Hopefully we'll get them on board in 2023. But that's the Show Me Snake shows. West Texas is taking off. I'm super excited to be working with Mickey. Dude hustles almost as hard as anyone I know. I'm trying to be on that level. The shows are doing amazing. We had a great time in Odessa, even though I came back from it like sick as a dog. It was a great time. I enjoyed every minute of it. And hopefully we could get them on it. Or, hey, even if they don't get on it, you guys should check it out. It's not just in Texas. It's all over the states. Like, this guy's pushing further and further west. Just check out a Show Me Snake show, y'all. I'd really appreciate it. Tell them that you got sent by Feely's Clutch or Outside the Clutch or however you want to say it. But without further ado, I think it's enough time to wait. I think I made Taylor make enough faces in the background by giving her crap. And we're going to have a good time. So let's just dive into it. Here's Dax and Taylor from DNT Retics.
What's up?
What's up?
What's good?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Just watching the Yankee game. That's why we're making faces.
Heartbreakers, man. Heartbreakers.
Yeah. Yep.
Kill me.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. How was it being there for history, Dax?
It's funny because I purchased the tickets in July.
Yeah.
It was just supposed to be like a family outing, second to last game of the season. Just wanted to get there because I had previously took her to Yankee Stadium. So, I was like, let's just get tickets for this game. And she's like, all right, sounds good. We can make the time, a night game perfect. And then all of a sudden the week before, it's like, all right, he's going to hit it. No problem. Forget it. Then all of a sudden it came to that day and the first game of the doubleheader, he didn't hit it. And then I was like, oh man, I'm like, this is perfect. I'm like, it couldn't. I mean, I've been there for a few history making moments of Yankee baseball, and to be out of Yankee Stadium to watch it happen was even better, and not even trying to get there for that reason. And it just happened that night. It was amazing.
First up, first pitch, gone. History in the making. And we were in the background, just saying.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I can't watch baseball anymore. Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. And I'm a Yankees fan. Like, I've been rooting in the background with you. Like, I don't know how many times I'm just like,
we were going to have serious
Go
problems
Yanks.
if you weren't.
And so no, here's where it happened though. Like, I'm going to let you in on how I became a Yankees fan. So my dad was born and raised diehard Red Sox fan. Like, grew up in Boston, and we have an estranged relationship. Like, we're doing a lot better now that I'm older, but
Good.
We have an estranged relationship, right? And so when I first really got to know him as a kid, he came down and he took all these pictures and he brought what's that material called? Corduroy.
Yeah.
Red Sox hat. And so like all the pictures of me when he did this visit was like me in a corduroy Red Sox hat, right? And I start looking into the history and like figuring out the rivals and all that. And the next picture that I send him, and like this is back like Polaroid days, I'm just a little kid, right? Is me wearing a Yankees hat. And from then on, like I'm like 8 years old. Yeah, like 8 years old. And from then on, it's been Red Sox, Yankees. And like, even if we're having a hard time like communicating, that's the one thing we communicate about is baseball. We're like, oh, go Yankees! Red Sox suck, and vice versa. I'm not going to say the other way, you know what I mean? But that's what we do. That's how we get it in. That's how that's my relationship with my pops. We talk sports more than but it's good. I love it, man. I love it. So it's awesome that we have something like that to connect with as well. Not just that, but the love of animals, and we have another passion. And before we jump into that other passion, I want to kind of talk about how you guys came together.
He stalked me.
Yeah, right.
Ooh,
She tells everybody that. That is the biggest lie in the world, man. This story, a few people know about and some don't know, but it's more the opposite.
It is not the opposite. Okay, listen.
Stop it.
Listen.
You was like, ooh, he has big biceps.
That was like not even it. Okay, so at the time, we both went to the same like local bar.
Okay.
I would always see him sitting in his same exact spot, and he was always alone. And I was like, oh my God, he's so fucking hot. Jesus, he's fucking like I could never talk to him. He's hot. He's probably married. I'm not looking at his hands. Like I was just looking at his face, and I'm like, oh. And I would go.
He
with
wasn't looking at his face either. We know what you were
looking
at.
Listen,
they were right here and right here. I mean, come on. Let's be serious. I look at it too. It's okay.
So I got the courage to go sit next to him one day, and I ordered a drink, and I sat down, and I didn't say anything to him because I didn't have that much balls. And I had a few sips of my drink, and then I got up and went back to my friends. And they're like, did you talk to him? And I'm like, nope. I can't do it. I'm too nervous. I can't do it. And so then I see him walk out and walk to his car because we were like on the outside balcony part. I was like, man, he left, guys. And they're like, oh, he'll be back another night. It's fine. Like he comes here every night that we're here. And it was like every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday most of the time. And then I see him walk back in and I'm like, oh, he's coming back in. He's coming back in. And my friend Aaron at the time, which is a guy, I'm like, Aaron, go see where he's going. Go see where he's going. And he's like, Taylor, really? And I'm like, just go see where he's going. And he's like, I can't find him. He probably went in the bathroom or something. My dumbass.
You trying to send your pin in the bathroom?
I was like, Aaron,
you did, didn't you? You just went, oh my.
Told you.
So he's like, I'm not going in the bathroom. I was like, fine. So he's like, I don't know where he went. And I was like, all right, whatever. So then it's 4th of July. And I'm sitting at the end of the bar on the opposite side of where he usually sits. And I'm drinking my drinks. And I have my 2 best friends there as normal. And he walks in. And I was like, oh my God, guys, he's here. He's here. And he's saying hello to all his friends at the bar because it's a little local bar. Everyone knows everyone kind of thing. Everyone goes there. And I'm sitting at the end. I'm drinking my drink. I'm watching was it a football game or soccer? It was some kind of sport on the big screen. And I'm watching it. And I'm singing the songs that are playing on the stereo. And he comes over and he hugs the bartender. And we all knew the bartenders. And then he's just standing there next to me. And he's standing next, like this close. And he's singing the songs and watching the games and not saying a word to me. And I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, he's next to me. Oh my God. Oh my God, he's next to me. Ah, like freaking out. And so then my best friend Taylor, go figure, at the time, she's like, I need to go to the bathroom. And she's drunk and like slurring her words. And he had walked over to his friends at the time to say hello to some people that walked in. And she starts walking towards him. And I'm like, Bucks, the bathroom is that way. Like, let's go. And she's like, I got it. I'm fine. She walks over to him. She grabs him. Excuse me. My best friend thinks you're hot and I'm going to buy you guys drinks. She drags him over to me. Yeah. Like literally drags him. And she's like, here she is. I need drinks for them, please. And then she walks away. And I was like, hi.
That's a good friend.
And he goes,
that's a good friend.
Most famous line right here, okay?
Stop.
Most famous line.
I don't know where this came from.
Hi, I'm Dax. Serrano, like the ham.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Yeah.
So, hold on. There was nerves between you both. That's the funny part. Like,
there was.
I don't know what to say.
And I was like, I'm Taylor. Didio, like Daddy-O. I was like, So he says Serrano like the ham. I say Daddy-O because that's what everyone's called me my entire life anyways. And then we just went from there. We hung out for 3.5 hours that night. Yeah. And then went on like three dates the next week. And then that was it.
That's pretty much it.
Rest is history.
So he stopped.
The power couple was formed. Now, were you both in your lifting days at this point, or like?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I mean, he's always lifted since he was young in high school, back in the 1600s. But I was in my bodybuilding stage back then, and COVID had just hit not too long before, a few months before. And I was supposed to have my 2nd or 3rd show in March when it first hit. And so all of those got canceled. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to drink. I'm going to have fun. Like, I was eating 1,200 calories a day before and doing cardio for 2 hours and lifting for an hour and a half. I'm going to go ham now.
Gross.
So it was terrible. But I looked amazing. That was those were the days. So yeah, we were both in our lifting stage and we would work out together, and I'd meal prep for him at least twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into the lifting a little bit. I don't think so. I've had a couple of people that do like the powerlifting or do bodybuilding or things like that as guests, and we haven't really dived into it. The one thing we have talked about is obviously the discipline that takes, right? Like you don't really have leeway for screw ups in that if you want to do well in that
correct
genre or niche or whatever you want to call it, right? So how have you taken kind of the discipline from that and put it into your animal keeping now?
I would say just doing everything the best you can, literally. Like we would want to lift as heavy as we could, do everything to perfect form, and we do the same thing now. We keep all our husbandry points. I mean, to perfection. Our everything's clean here. We take care of the animals all the time. I mean, it's literally 7 days a week. I mean, if we do get a break, it's usually a Saturday night, and she'll go to bed and I'll stay up because I don't go to sleep, and I'll go downstairs and clean the babies. I'll do all that stuff while she's resting. And then Sunday we wake up, start up again, and then we'll have maybe the Sunday afternoon, late afternoon, to be free and sit down and relax for a little bit. But the same way, it's a discipline. It's that whole doing things over and over again, and doing very good, very repetitive. And that's how it goes into the animals as well. Like we clean certain racks certain nights, and we do the same thing, and we feed certain animals at certain nights, and we do the same thing that way as well. So it's not hard to adjust to it, so for us it was just focusing, instead of the gym, it was focusing on the animals and setting a schedule just like the gym. So that's how it works, and it's just easy. It's cake, and now everything just goes, and I'm a creature of habit, so I like doing everything the same way every time. So it's just very easy for us now.
He used to go to the gym every day, and then he had some health issues. I had injuries that kept me from going to the gym. And so what he would do is, before his health issues, he would get home from work, and then he would go to the gym for 2 hours sometimes, and then come back, and he'd be up until 11:30, midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning, working on the snakes. Because what we really primarily do is he works on the babies downstairs, and I keep the ones upstairs, all the big kids, clean, maintained, fed. So we kind of have that level to where, yes, there's a few more babies downstairs, but they're sometimes a lot easier to clean and do than the big kids. So it levels
sure.
out.
I believe that 100%.
Because when you have a nice confetti party from a big girl, it's not that easy.
No.
So it levels out, but it's just like, when you go to the gym and you're doing your bodybuilding or your power lifts, you have certain sets that you do certain days or certain parts, or if you're doing a push-pull routine, it's the same thing. He works on one rack a day. He works on another rack on Tuesday, and, he'll feed on Wednesdays. We'll clean again on Thursdays. So, I mean, the racks are rotated every 48 hours. So we clean them every 48 hours. If there's a huge mess, it's obviously sooner, but nothing goes more than 48 hours. So
Like that.
It's a lot of work.
I have 3. So up until 2 weeks ago, I only had 1, and that was a lot of work. I believe it. Yeah. So, and it seems like she has my schedule down as much as I have her schedule down. Like, she knows. So we were talking earlier, and she just has this thing. She did it with Nathan too. It's like she knows when I'm having a retic episode. She likes to take a big, massive dookie right in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's why her light's not on right now, because I still have to finish it. So yeah, I'll be that guy. I got on live with a giant dookie in the corner. All right.
It happens.
I
They
get
do
to
it
play
when
with my retic after this. Like,
yeah,
right
they,
after.
they do it. They do it when you least expect it, or when you turn around and
they
walk away after cleaning.
But so they learn our schedule as much as we learn theirs. But
Oh yeah.
Oh my Lord, I just lost my train of thought. Oh God.
They learn their schedule as much as ours.
That discipline, there we go.
Yeah.
The word. Come on, John. That discipline that you all have brought to this, that you had in lifting, and now with your kids, like, you have kids that are doing sports, and so you're managing a lot of different stuff all at once. How do you guys kind of find time for everything that you do? Because you very much have to keep a tight knit schedule over there from what it looks like.
Yeah. With the kids, it's easy. It's not bad. Her mom helps out a lot with stuff, especially with her son. and it's football and schooling and everything. She helps out a lot, big time. And with Juliana, it's she's getting everything down to pat to what she needs to take care of on the animals right now. So she's learning and she's doing everything she needs to do. And literally at the point she's at now, we don't really bother her on what she's got to do.
It's just really like making sure she's done it. Hey, did you feed your snakes this week? Hey, have you checked your water at least 3 times a week? Are you making sure that they're sprayed down? Did you make sure that none of them are going in blue and need to be soaked? You know, just those little reminders, but not like
we're not up her butt, really, literally.
Right.
Yeah. She's
does she help
job
with the retics, or is she just doing her collection?
No, she doesn't she's not a big fan of the retics. So
how's that make you feel? Is there like some rivalry going on in the household, or what's going on?
No, there's no rivalry. It's she's she's younger. She sees how much we stress out when we have to pull out, one of the 15-footers and we're both lugging this thing, and she doesn't want to get to that point. She'd rather have something, smaller, which is fine.
And I'd rather her have something smaller too. As a 13-year-old girl, there's no reason for her to be into, a 15-foot snakes.
Yeah. So we, with her, it's a cake. It's getting easier because now she's, getting her stuff down pat and doing her, everything's disciplined with her as well. She's doing her own scheduling. So it's easier that way in the end. It's working out better.
Yeah.
You might hear some craziness, right?
That's all right.
Someone was very opinionated themselves. I'm just saying. They're being very opinionated. So what did you guys decide to say to her when she showed an interest in animals, and then when she said, hey, I want to do ball pythons versus retics? What happened?
We knew right away that she would want to do ball pythons. When she purchased her first ball python.
Okay.
She saved up her allowance for 6 months. 6 months, she saved up $420. And the only thing we gave her was the 40-gallon aquarium. That was it. I said, you have the aquarium, you need to buy everything else, including your snake, to go in that aquarium so that you have everything you need. A hide, a bowl, plants, ReptiChip, cocoa block, whatever you're going to choose. I was like, and you need to buy, a sprayer so that you can spray it down. You got to buy tongs. You got to get everything. We will supply the food for you and the 40-gallon aquarium because we have plenty of the food. I'm not worried about it. So she saved up for 6 months, and we went to NARBC, and she was set on purchasing from Will Banks. She wanted nothing else to do with anyone else.
No, literally nothing.
She wouldn't even look at anyone else's table. Like we walked around the entire.
She just hung out at his table, literally.
Can we go back to Will Banks now? Can we go back?
Hey, I'm just saying, I got a table there now. Like, force her money.
So she purchased a banana from Will Banks, and she still has him, and he's doing great. He's getting big, and then we gave her the ball pythons that we had. And yes, we had them before retics. I know.
The disappointment on your face, Tay. Like I don't want to even admit I had those things.
No, they're not bad. But it's just, it's it's good for a 13-year-old girl. If she wants to in the future delve into,
I wouldn't mind her doing boas. Boas would be a good median for her.
So is there a little competition going on in the house? Like, I'm producing this type of stuff. What do you got going on? Is there
I don't think so. She gets excited when we have clutches.
No.
I'd totally be doing that. Like,
we shit talk with her all the time.
We do.
Don't get it wrong. We do.
Yeah, we do. But no, she's good with it. I mean, she likes what she has.
Nice.
She's learning. She's got great help. I mean, some of the best around. So she's taking their advice. She's doing what she does, and she just sticks to her own stuff. She doesn't really bother or mention anything like to us. No shit. There's no shit talking. So
no,
it's just funny, but we do. So
Well, we should talk everything to her. Both of my kids, like we are very realistic parents, and even before him, I've always been very straight and like straightforward with my kids. I don't hide anything. I'm not keeping anything from them. Like the way
So
I
when
talk
the
to
boy
you.
makes a bad play in football, do you call him out for that?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah. There's no participation trophies coming in this house,
No.
buddy.
That's good.
No.
That's good. That's Texas style football. That's good.
Like, for instance, I'll put this out there right now. I don't care what other parents think, but this is me. Tristan had some kid talking shit to him in school and on Thursday, and he shoved the kid and started a physical altercation, and he got suspended for it. I didn't tell the principal when she's telling me this on the phone, but when Tristan got picked up by my mother, I said, take it off speakerphone, and he goes, yeah. And I said, I'm proud of you, kid. Plain and simple. He's like, wait, what? And I was like, you stood up for yourself. I'm proud of you. Like, don't let anyone talk shit to you and think that it's okay. Do it. Like, I don't care if you get suspended for that. Now, if he was the one to do it and you're talking shit, then yeah, I'm gonna kick your ass because you don't need to be talking shit to anyone because I taught you better than that. But if someone's doing it to you, you stand up for yourself. So I told him, I said, I'm proud of you and you're not in trouble. He's like, really? And I was like, no, but you're going to help grandma with some extra chores while you don't have school for a Friday. So,
yeah.
So let's jump into y'all's stuff. I know I was talking about shit talking. We're going to go back to that, but more than likely, like there's got to be something. I'm going to pull it out. Let's talk about your projects this year, what you're really excited about, and then kind of dive in more about how you guys came into the industry and how you've kind of made a name for yourselves the way that you have, because you've done it differently than a lot of people do coming in.
Well, with what were we saying? Projects this year, I'm going to let her talk about those because I don't put too much into what projects we're going to do. I'd go by what she likes because, you know, she's very well chosen on her stuff. She knows what she wants and she makes good stuff. So she's always got her mindset on good things, which I don't argue about. So I'm the one who just keeps it on the albino side. I'm very albino.
he likes the albinisms.
Yeah. So any albinism I can get out of it, I'll get out of it and work with her. So everything corresponds with each other. So, but yeah, she'll tell you what's coming up.
We've got some pretty amazing stuff coming up. Two of our big projects that we're working on is going to be some super dwarf orange glows. There's not many of them out there. I know they're starting to come out more, but we've got a killer breeder male, super high percentage super dwarf, and he's going to go to our orange glow female. Hopefully she'll go this year. So like fingers crossed she goes, because that would be awesome. And then we've got some snow projects as well. So I'm going to produce some sunfire snows, some purple snows,
Regular snows,
some regular snow. Well, yeah, regular purple snows. I mean, some het aneries, which are going to be amazing as always. So those are two of our big projects right now. We've got a female that's due to lay next week. She was a purple paired to a lavender platinum motley sunfire tiger. Yes. So hopefully we'll get some nice combinations of those coming out. And then hopefully some motley GCs, some marble jags, some motley jags, some GC jags. So some jaguar stuff, some orange glow stuff, some snows, motley GCs.
Is the jaguar like with does it have like the neuro things in Retics too, or do
they have a wobble? Some of them do. It's not
okay.
always set in stone for them to have a wobble, but they can have a wobble. Like our motley jag, I've never seen a wobble on him. Some of the jags that we've gotten from Keith Stambaugh, one of them had a wobble, and it wasn't a huge wobble. It was really when he was stationary with food in his mouth, and that was it. So, I mean, if you call that a wobble, then but so we'll do those. Also, we're gonna have some Mochino mix stuff including some Moschino Motleys, Moschino Platinums, Moschino Sunfires, things going. So we've got a lot of different combinations going with the albinisms and without the albinisms, because some of our stuff is het albino. I like having that mixture so that you're not getting all albinos, and you can, make sure that you're distributing to everyone that wants something. So
Yes, we will be a Conroe.
Let's
Always.
so let's kind of dive into how you guys came into Retics for one. Like what made you decide Retics, and then how you got your start in the industry, and how important partnerships have been for y'all.
Yeah, no, we
yeah, how did we get into Retics?
I know it's the same story. Everybody knows pretty much, but yeah, it was all because of her. She picked one out. It wasn't I was against Retics. I was one of those people who kept saying
we didn't
I don't have room.
Adequate education. About
Plus we didn't have, we weren't very well versed in it. So, I figured let's take some time to learn, let's get one, let's see how it goes. Let's get a baby, work with him and then go from there. And in time, we just fell in love with them. And before, like you said, you had 1 2 weeks ago, now you have 3. It was the same scenario for us, except we had 1, and then 3 weeks later we had 6. So it just grew super fast.
To be fair, okay, so I'm backtracking a little bit. So I went from 1, my first year keeping snakes. So it was like my 4th snake ever was a retic, but it was a baby, like almost directly out of the egg, like in a pet store. Had probably never had a meal. Like I dealt with the hardships from the get-go, right? And then within that year, there's a weird thing in the retic community where if you show love and appreciation for animals, the people that have retics that realize they can't take care of them kind of just bring retics into your lap, as bad as that sounds. So I went from 1 in a year to about 10.
Nice.
And then I realized right away, oh crap, I can't handle this. And that went, and so it slowly went back down to 1 after I found responsible people to keep them. But the bug has bit me again, obviously. Yeah, so we'll just leave it at that before my wife starts listening.
I know.
It's not my fault.
I'm gonna put a small blame on you. If I hadn't been stuck behind retic people, no, I'm just.
But yeah, so it was it's we learned, we got a few bigger animals, nothing too big. We decided on what we wanted to do as far as getting maybe a couple of bigger animals. How literally we sat and made a whole process and laid it out on where we can fit what, how we would stack these, and how this would work, and if we needed to move that, and if we just pretty much labeled out everything and where it can go and how much room we could have. So we figured at that basis. So what we did was we wound up collecting more and more over the time, and now we're up to where we're at. But it's
whoa, wait, there was a face there. What's the number that we're at?
I think
we have 23 upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, 23 adult subadults. The bigger ones, there's probably about 8 or 9 big ones. The rest are subadults.
Now let me remind you, we are in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay, so yes. So
the kids have bunk beds, or they just don't have, they don't have a room.
That would be fantastic. No, my son actually chose to stay with my mom so that he could stay in the same school and finish it with his friends.
Yeah, so it's 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah,
really, it's not far at all. So
he's here now.
Yeah, and then we have all the babies downstairs. It's it's we figured out everything, and when people come by, they're like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, you guys have the neatest, cleanest house possible, and everything is Tetris. It's literally Tetris. So we make do, and we do everything we need to do. But what happened was, we sat and thought, we kept going NARBC and other little shows, and we were like, do you want to breed? And she's like, we need help on breeding? And I said, correct. I said, I'm not saying let's just start, jump off the, the cliff and dive into it. We had help from Amanda and Gavin Bow at In Your Face Exotics. She's
Huge
like,
help.
yeah, her and Sarah are sister wives with her. So, it's,
I don't share him.
we don't.
That's not what I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't gonna go there.
They're like our sister wives, but
well, after all the stalking, I would hope not.
So we
I'm gonna get beat up by Tay next show.
Watching you daily.
So she taught us a lot. We learned a lot from her, and they were probably one of the biggest influences on us. And also TJ, who we bought our first retics from, he helped us out a lot as well, and we were able to get everything started to what we were needed to do. But we weren't going to be able to breed probably till another 2 years from the point we were at, maybe 2 to 3 years. And so I just figured, I want to, and there's one person I based everything as far as what we do on, and that was Miguel Garcia over at Always Evolving. I like the way he came into, he came in, he just did what he had to do and no apologies and just did everything he needed to do. He had his haters but now everybody loves him, so we're trying, we did the same thing. It's, we had an option to where we can purchase wholesale, to learn the game, to learn how to sell,
From
to
Amanda.
learn, from Amanda and Gavin. They gave us that opportunity, which, they don't really do. So we learned from them. And we went out and went out on the circuits for all the shows and put our stuff out there, started letting everybody know where we're coming, and just gave everybody a warning, that when we come out, it's going to be a game changer. And, not that the fact that, we're going to have game changing animals, it's just going to be a different, scenario. We're not hot on the high horse. We're not, conceited people. We love helping everybody out, no matter who it is, we get calls for people, do you guys have this, even animals that we don't even deal with. And we're like, no, hold on. Let me get, I have a friend who has, let me send you over to him. And literally our biggest people that text us now are people who buy stuff from breeders who just don't do the right job. And now they're coming to us, and we don't even have a problem taking on these people and helping them out. And if their animal's sick or they're, the husbandry's off because somebody said to do this and it's not right. That's what I meant by us changing the game, is in the fact that we don't turn anybody away. We do vet people for who buy animals from us. We do put people out there, to see if they have their knowledge, if they've done their homework, anything like that. So that's what happened. We just did that.
These animals, like everyone should do it, I think, regardless of the species. But obviously, with something that could physically cause harm.
Of course,
point.
man. Yeah, at some point.
We don't turn people away just because they don't buy from us.
Yeah,
Right.
we don't. We're not like that, and we're not going to be like that. Everybody has their fans. Everybody's got people, even though there's people who get shit on all over the hobby, but they have their fans, and just because they're their fans, I'm not going to knock them because X, Y, and Z said they're no good and all this other stuff. We don't do that. We're not into that kind of stuff, man.
And I think it's important the way you guys came in too, because you wanted to understand how it worked, and you wanted to work these partnerships, and you wanted to make it an experience. And regardless of what people think, like I remember back in the day, you looked at someone, or you would say someone was a flipper for reselling, right? And there's a big taboo on that. But for some people, like myself, for instance, this year, the reason I was able to start vending shows this year was because I bought a collection. Obviously, I didn't need everything within that collection. I took care of that collection for months, and then I started selling animals out once I could say, okay, I know for a fact these animals are healthy, they're eating right, everything is good with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They do not benefit me and what I'm doing, so I'm going to let them go.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If people want to call it a flipper, then hey, I'm a fucking flipper, whatever. Doesn't bother me. You're not.
We have not spent any money except for the first wholesale clutch that we bought, and that was it. We've never spent any other money. People have come up to us, and we have very good friends, Chris McVicker, Keith Stambaugh, Aubrey Pruitt. It's just, we built a relationship with these people, and they've seen how we worked, and very honest. So, they've entitled us, to have the respect from them, which is the best thing that I could ever get out of anything, is to know that somebody trusts me and trust her, and they will say, hey, we have these, can you help us out? Which, because, we're doing 36 shows a year. Not everybody's doing 36 shows a year.
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, like, that's one of the things when we talked at McQueenie was like, hey, this is what we produced. You were very upfront about that. And that's the same way I am with my animals, right? If I didn't produce it, I'll tell you, hey, I didn't produce this. This is who produced it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you all the information I have. And you guys were that same way. And I love that about you. And I think it's very important.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we learned that from Gavin and Amanda. Because that was like one of my biggest questions was like, before we started selling, and I had the wholesale clutch here. And I'm like, all right, so if I sell, what do I do? And he's like, just tell them where you got it from. Let them know. If they ask you, let them know. That's all. I mean, he's like, people who are going to buy them as pets don't really care. They're just buying the animal because they like it, because it's, it's something they their eyes grew to, and that's it. And he's like, but there'll be people who want to breed in the future, looking for specific animals. You just let them know where you got them from. He goes, if they walk away from you because you didn't produce the animal, then you don't need their business. It's not a big deal. You're going to Gavin told me, he said, you're going to be producing soon. So in time, you do what you need to do. And when, and Aubrey Pruitt told me, back then in the day too, was as soon as you have your first clutches, guys, everything will take off from there. And it's the truth. Some people would walk away because they weren't ours, but, we learned that, and we took it, and we went from there. But it's, it's producing those relationships. And you said the partnerships part now, it was a couple of people asking us if we wanted to do collabs with them. Chris McVicker was our first collab. I mean, it was actually a breeder loan. He asked us, he goes, yeah, you guys want to take these, and, we'll work this out this way. And we were like, it was to us, Chris is still somebody high on our list. He always will be. But it was shocking that, Amanda's like, would you like to do a breeder loan for Chris McVicker? And we're like, yeah. We're like, of course, why not? To us, he was one of the guys we looked up to, and we're like, fuck yeah. So then, somebody else came along who, they wanted to keep it secret, which is not a problem. But we did a breeder loan with him as well. He was like, yeah, you guys are awesome. Here, take this, run it with your stuff. And then, we'll work our things out as well. And then the final big step was with Aubrey Pruitt. He was, at an ARBC, was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. And, at the end of the show, he's like, listen, you guys are awesome. You guys are honest. You guys are good people. And to hear that from him was the best. And he was like, I'm going to give you guys something. I'll give you a bunch of stuff. You guys do what you need to do with it. And I was like, okay, how much is this going to cost? And he was like, no. He's like, I trust you guys, and I believe in you guys.
I'm going to give it to you. When you sell it, you give me the money.
Yeah. And that's how it was. He had the belief in us, and he believed that, what we could sell would go, and whatever he'd given us would go as well. And it's worked out ever since. I mean, we got the ocelots in our hands, and, we sold a few, and it's taken off from there. It's an awesome relationship. I can't complain about it at all.
You guys turn it into a party at the shows when you get together. It's a different experience. I could say that.
It's crazy. I mean, because, it was good, when we had our own booth, and then this time when Chris, when Chris came and we shared a booth with Chris last NARBC, it was awesome. We had a great time. We loved doing it with him, and we don't mind doing that either. And then when Aubrey came, and he came with his animals, it was just on a different level. It was we
didn't even get 10 minutes to breathe.
No, we literally, this is the first time I never got to see NARBC.
We walked around like not even half of it. Like we walked down the middle and went down like 2 aisles down, and then they're like, we need you back in the booth. And we're like, okay.
Later. And
I was all the way on the other side of Arlington. I was like, I need you to watch the booth for 2 seconds so I could go get my shirts.
Yeah, we literally didn't even have 10 minutes of breathing time. And it was just insane.
Yeah, it was
insane.
It was crazy. And we didn't sell much at Arlington. We're not ashamed to say if we sold a ton or not. For us, it's not about selling. And it's the same story every podcast we do. It's not about selling. It's about changing minds, educating people, letting them know that they can have an animal like this, but it's going to take work and you need to do your homework, and that's the biggest thing that we push is doing homework, do your diligence, do everything you need to do to find out about these animals. Because number one, I'm not going to sell it to you if you have no idea what's going on. You think you're going to put it in some arboreal terrarium, it's not going to work. You need the right husbandry. You need the right tools. You need everything. So then when you get this animal from us, you're not calling me back in a week from now going, my snake wants to bite my face off, doesn't eat, doesn't do this, because everything you have is wrong. So,
and then we say, well, send me a picture of your husband.
Yeah, and that's the first thing we say.
Arboreal front opening.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm doing everything right.
I know, exactly.
And
so
they're hand feeding.
Yeah, it's like, so we yeah, which is ridiculous. But it's that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to come out and not be one of those guys who just sell the sell, and we didn't want to do that. We wanted to let people know that they can trust us. They can come to us for anything. That even if you had bought an animal from somebody else, we'll still help you. Like we said before, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, and we're not dead set on, this hobby isn't my only income. It's neither is hers. So this isn't something that we have to, live by. There are people out there who do, and, we understand what they have to do that. But, we're a lot forgiving. We are very forgiving with some stuff, with prices. We're a lot forgiving with. So, we try to work with everybody. I don't need to make the top dollar on an animal when I know today's economy sucks. Yeah. So, if somebody's $150 short on an animal, make me that offer. I'm willing to, we're willing to work with you on it. Yeah. All right. You're $150 short, whatever. See you later. Thanks.
Just give me one no, I'm just.
Now, if it's a $200 snake, if it's a $200 snake and you're 150 short, you can meet me somewhere in the middle. I don't know if that's gonna work.
But yeah, so that's what we brought it as. We wanted to make the hobby sort of fun again, sort of everybody getting along. We again partnerships. You said we deal with bull python people. Some of our good friends are bull python people. Earl from Lone Star. I am super close. He's one of the first people I've ever met in the reptile world in Texas. It's about 5 or 6 years ago. Heidi and Jack Dunlop over at Lone Star. I mean, not Lone Star, Southern Star. Sorry. Southern Star. Who else? Bill Stiegel. Guy is phenomenal. Love the guy to death. Amazing. So we've met other people along the way. Kyle and Ashley over at TER. I mean, we've become friends with people outside of the retic world who we are very close with and have a great time with and don't have no problems with. And that's what's another thing we want to push. It's not, stop the arguing with everybody else. It's everybody's got their own crap within their own genre of what they're breeding. It's, let's open up the gates and talk to other people about other stuff, stop being locked in one scenario.
We are a reptile community, not a retic community. Or
that's how we base ourselves on.
We're a reptile community. Like US ARC does not solidify groups for, okay, well, ball pythons donated this, or retics donated this, or look, Tokay's donated this. Yeah, No, like US ARC is everyone together. So why not have everyone together?
I think it only builds the community altogether. Like, there was things I know at that McQueenie show, they were asking about stuff. And I was like, honestly, I can't answer that. Like, go talk to them. Or like, I have geckos, but I'm not a gecko guy. Go talk to Carl over there. Or with retics, they were like, they would talk to you guys. Or there was like someone looking at your animals, but they were waiting in line patiently because you had a nice group there, you know what I mean? And so they'd start asking me, and I was like, I know a little bit about retics, but they're the ones you want to ask, man. And I think that's very important. I think the way you guys are bringing every niche together and you have a good group of people around you is extremely important. I preach it all the time. The people that you have around you is either who's going to bring you up or who's going to drag you down. So you got to be smart about who you let in that circle. You guys have done a very good job of building circle.
Yeah, we have a really good circle. I mean, it's been a blessing. I can't ask for anyone better than the people who we have, you know, and they've helped us out a lot. And again, you know, they've, you know, given everything we've asked for, or any, you know, as far as help goes or anything, they've never shied away. And that's where we've learned from them as well. We've taken stuff from them and brought it into our world, where it's like, all right, well, you know, Aubrey Pruitt is super informational. He loves giving out information. He loves talking about stuff. Chris Vickers the same way, you know, but these guys aren't, you know, they're not like loud and obnoxious like we are, you know. It's not like, you know, they're a little more kept back. But, you know, we want to let people know that they're the same way as we are. You know, it's not, you know, they're just a little more reserved than we are. So, you know, we want people to ask them questions and talk to them and all this other stuff. Like at NARBC, people would come over to talk to us who are, you know, friends of ours and stuff. And they're like, is that Aubrey? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, man, I want to go. I'm like, go over there and talk to the guy. Go. They're like, yeah, but I don't know. And I'm like, go talk to him. Go talk to him. It's not a problem, you know. And Brittany was there, and it's just it's funny, but
I don't understand. Like I understand it, like, but I don't understand it within this community. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have those people that have done so much, or like they're the rock stars, right? And it's like you give them that rock star status, but then you get starstruck, and it's like
they're just normal people.
I don't know, man. Like, it's just they're people.
And Aubrey,
like people. That's all they want.
Yeah.
Aubrey is so humble. It's not even funny. Like, the way he looks at himself, he's like, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he is the
most humble guy. And him and Brittany both. Yeah. Brittany is the biggest sweetheart ever. And
it's awesome. And we Chris
tell them, Sarah are the same way.
And Chris and Sarah are the same way. You know, Chris is a very, you know,
everyone
held back kind of guy. He's not the loud, obnoxious type. I know I can get it out of him here and there sometimes, but you know, he's the same. People are like, that's Chris Vickers, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, man, he's got some nice Super Dwarf stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you can go talk to him.
Go talk to him.
And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, geez, I'm like, go on, you know. I'm like, it's that's the way it is. You know, we try to get everybody out there to talk to everybody else and anything else, and you know, like you said, you help people when they come asking you questions about certain different species or genres or whatever, you know, animals that they are asking about, and you walk them over to a table. We do the same thing, you know. And how can you? I don't know how people could be like, yeah, I don't know about them. Whatever, sorry. I can't do that to somebody, man. That's just not me. We're not like that. We're not built like that. We're here to help people out, you know, even if it's got nothing to do with retics or snakes or anything, you know. Oh, I know a person. Hold on, let me walk you over to the table. You know, and you know, introduce them. Listen, she needs help with this, and they do that. You know, and that's the same way we are, and that's, you know, it's the same way. You know, anybody can ask Aubrey and Chris the most basic questions, and they will have a full-on conversation, probably 10 minutes about the question you've asked, to give you all that information that you want to know about. And that's the best part, and that's where we've learned from them as well. We've taken a lot by watching certain people and how they work. So, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the circuits that you guys run. Obviously, you're at the NARBC now. What's it like being in the big show right away? And then what are the other show circuits that you run? And you said you did 35 a year?
You do about, between 32 and 34 a year. Yeah. I think next year possibly could be 35. We do NARBC. We do herps. We're getting on board with Jesse over at the Texas Reptile Expo. We do the Lone Star as well. So that's 4 on there that we do. That because now a lot of them are starting to correspond on the same dates, and it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of tough for us to do. So, but yeah, those are our main 4 that, you know, we'll be dealing with going on. But yeah, I mean, it's the first, you know. NARBC was our third show. Our third show. NARBC Arlington was our third show, and we went there with, you know, with one table, little setup, everything ready to go. And now it's I'm possibly getting a third table. So it just grows and grows.
We have 33 shows planned for 2023.
There you go.
Holy crap.
Oh, joy. Just kidding.
We love it.
We do love it, but
A lot of traveling.
it gets very tiresome. Like you said, we both have full-time jobs Monday through Friday. Along with that comes kids and snake cleanings and everything else that needs to be done during the week. And then when we're gone 2 weekends out of the month, most of the time, at least, there's some months where we have September is usually 3 weekends back to back that we're going to shows.
Mhm.
And I think March is the same way, usually March or April.
It's usually everything's around Arlington. So it's usually Conroe.
January is the one. We
Okay.
have 3 shows.
We have 3 shows in January. But even then, even when we get to February and Arlington, there's always Conroe right next to it. And then there's usually a Lone Star show around it. So it's those 3 in a row. And that's always in September as well. But yeah, at the beginning of January, in January this year coming up, we have 3 shows the last 3 weeks in January.
Mhm.
So
it gets very tiresome when we're traveling 3 weekends out of the month. And I mean, my kids don't come to every show. Sometimes our daughter will come to one show and then we'll rotate and have Tristan come with us to one show. And then one show we'll just do by ourselves. Because I mean, we got to have someone stay home with the dog. We got to have someone watch the house. So we can't just always leave things, for the weekend. But I mean, it sucks sometimes not having the kids with us and being able to spend all that time together. But it's a lot of work, 33 to 36 shows a year. We do love it. And
Wrap my head around that. Like,
yeah.
So I talked to my wife. I was like, I'll do 1, maybe 2 some months if we're producing enough, but 30, that's insane.
it's
Well,
I love it.
Nap just listening to that right now.
Listen, when you have snakes that produce 30 to 50 eggs,
you got to do that.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
That's why we were talking about partnerships before. We love doing collabs
We
with other
love it.
breeders because first of all, it's split the clutch. I don't have 40 of the same animals on my table. We don't have nothing like I love doing collabs, especially when there's someone out there who has something that you can use and that's something they can get out of it. So it works, it's been working awesome lately. This year we're going to probably not do any collabs because of the fact that we're only going to try for 6 clutches, and it never works out. The full 6 will never pop. So we're looking at 3 or 4 clutches, and we're going to keep it that way, and that's perfectly enough for us. Yeah. And our first clutch now that we're having is actually a collab, split clutch. So that'll help, So yeah, but we don't. You got to remember that's it's with the ball pythons, 6 to 10 a clutch, maybe more if you're lucky. I mean, that's great if you have 5 or 6 clutches. That's perfect amount for a table. But when you have 5 retics or 4 retics and you get an average of 30 eggs, that's 120 eggs. It's a lot.
So
it's a lot.
How many are you guys looking at per year since you've started?
How many clutches do we want to do per year?
Well, on average, how many babies are you looking at from your side of things per year?
Probably between 120 to 180.
Depending. I would keep it on the low side.
Now,
that's a lot. That takes me 20 to 30.
Now, here's the thing. So, we're going for that higher number towards 6. We don't ever want to do more than 5 or 6 clutches a year because it can just be too much. And
ridiculous.
That's not where we're trying to get to. We're keeping it minimal and maintained and focusing on what we want. And it doesn't matter if they sell or not because it's what we're doing.
Right.
Say we hit 5 clutches and we've got these babies and it's been a slow year. Well, next year we're going to dial down our pairings.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to do as many. So instead of going for 5, we might go for 2 or 3 pairings and maybe get 1.
Yeah.
And that'll be fine.
You're going to get 60 freaking babies out of that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But there's ones that don't eat, you know. I mean, that's the dark
You
side.
just
of
made
the
me
hobby.
rethink that. I might, well, no, like I'm probably still gonna do the one a year.
Do one a year.
Do one a year. Do
that's
exactly
fine.
what you want, how you like it, and you know, breed which makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're doing. You know, we don't. You know, it doesn't have to be the biggest, baddest, you know, retic in the you know hobby. You know, but we're breeding stuff that is pretty, that we know is nice looking, and that other people can appreciate.
So we talked about the babies that you put out. We talked about your shows. What are some of the lessons that you've learned, both the easy way and the hard way, since you've come into the hobby?
Dax has learned that even in breeding season with your nicest snake, you need to use a hook.
Yes.
Oh, this sounds like there's a good story behind that.
We had a male. He was sweetest thing. Like never once essed up. Never once
Nothing.
struck. Nothing. Super sweet. Just like Loki. Loki is our male that everyone knows. He's our Motley GC. He's never once essed up. He literally takes food. He opens his mouth and I have to put it in there. He's the biggest baby. But yeah. So Wolverine at the time.
That would be nice.
He's a good boy.
Wolverine at the time, breeding season had just rolled through, and he was turned around and he was fine, and Dax went to go grab him so that we could clean out his enclosure, and he turned around and nipped him on the hand. And I had warned him, I said, babe, it's breeding season, just tap him real fast so that, you know, gets him out. And he's like, oh, it's fine, it's Wolverine. Made a mistake, and there it was.
Yeah, that's I mean, we've been lucky.
Much musk on you, Dax.
Yeah. we've I could knock on wood. We've never had bad bites at all. Most of them have been just a bite, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. Nothing wrapping.
We've been really lucky.
Yeah, and plus we read them. I mean, we know what we have, and we know how to read them, and we know when they don't want to be bothered, and when they want to come out. I mean, it's literally once you get to learn, it's that easy. You know, it takes a little time, you know, and a little bit of watching their movements and seeing how they are and learning. And plus, we use our hooks as, we didn't use our hooks as much as we did at the beginning, but now we use them a lot. And what we do is now I'm starting to tap train the babies. So anything that's downstairs, in the baby rack, we tap train them. So this way, when they're, sold and given to a person, they come tap trained pretty much already. They know when they get tapped on the head with the hook, it's not feeding time, and they'll back up and go into their tub. But yeah, we can never say anything about the bites. That's been good. Again, the dark side of breeding is not everyone's going to survive. Right. There's some babies that do not eat for shit. We'll go literally 4 months after being born and not eat. And it's sad to say, we've had a couple that, have passed because of that, because they wouldn't eat or anything. And, we've learned through a wise man that, trying to force feed and assist feed too much could do more damage than good. Right. So we try to work in, how trying to assist feed as minimal as possible, but it's
until it gets to that point.
But, that's the biggest downfall for us, because it's like you get so many eggs and then there's a percentage that don't eat, or we get so many eggs and they're slugs. So, we were hoping, and then all of a sudden it's like you get this percentage of slugs, and it's like, oh man. So that's been the most, I want to say, bad part for us is just, we love the breeding and having the eggs come out. It's just the process of getting them to eat and go and do everything correctly as they should, and we hope they do, and they don't. So that's pretty much the bad part for us.
Have you found it to be a little bit harder than ball pythons, or because
we've never bred ball pythons, babies,
but we've never bred ball pythons. But I mean, our first 2 clutches, the genetic stripes and the mochinos, both a pain in the fucking ass. Jesus. A lot of them didn't start eating until we had day-old quail.
Yeah, until we were able to get live quail.
Like it took live quail for
Yeah.
these assholes.
Yeah, it was a pain.
But now they're fine,
Mhm.
and we only have 2 of them that aren't eating. But the thing is we won't put anything on our table to sell unless it is consistently eating 4 to 5 meals of frozen thawed, because I don't want to put anything on our table that's eating live, just because my preference, it can be really difficult for someone to have to find a store that sells live near them.
Right.
So
No,
I want them to
completely
be able to have ease and know, like, okay, I can order this online. I can go through Rodent Pro. I can get food here at the show that'll last me, 4 or 5 months. So having that ease for them and knowing that they can feed this snake without having to drive 30 minutes to an hour or a little bit further to get live food puts my mind at ease that it's going to be easier for them to care for it.
Yeah.
So do you think like the problems that you had was maybe because it was your first clutches, or do you think it was just
I don't know.
to do with the feed itself? Was it like just the learning experience and maybe learning how to read brand new babies, or?
No, I think retics are super stubborn, man. When they're babies, if they don't want to eat, they will lock their jaws and they will tighten their necks, and it's hard to assist feed anything that does that. It's especially when it's so little, it's hard. It's not easy. So, it's a pain. It sucks, and I hate it because it's like, come on, guys, you got to eat, and I hate having opening a tub, and and the animal's not doing well or something like that, and things have to happen. But that's my biggest thing, is just them not eating. It's like, come on, guys, you got to eat. I mean, aren't you hungry? And some of them just don't eat.
I will say though, all of our babies that hatched had really good size yolks, and they absorbed it all. So with that good size yolk, I know it can hold them over longer than a smaller yolk. So I feel like that was part of the reason to why they didn't eat, because it took 6 to 8 weeks for all of them to start eating.
Yeah, it's just a pain.
Which retics, I mean, can go 3-4 months until they start showing those signs of, leaning out and becoming stressed.
That's insane to me. Like
yeah,
it's crazy.
At 3 weeks after they shed for ball pythons, we're like, you better figure it out and eat something. What's about to happen if you don't eat right now?
Yeah, we don't give up on our animals, on anybody's animals. So it's, if we get something from someone that it's not eating, we will try until the very last end that we can to get them going. We don't care. We don't. It's
that discipline again.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's just, we don't give up. We want to see everything turn out well and everybody be happy on both ends and everything be, turn out good. So, we will try. We will definitely try, but that's, it's nature, it happens. It's going to happen, but that's the biggest thing for us, is just the feeding and, the babies and stuff like that. And, the not getting bit part is, again, been super lucky, but I mean, everything else is just pretty much falling into place, again, because we're so structured that we listen to certain things and we do them certain ways, and that just everything just rolls into place.
I'm sorry, I keep smiling every time you say the bit thing, because I remember like my biggest one. So she's just short of 10 feet. Like I keep saying she's 10 feet, but she's just short. And I remember when she was a baby, and she used to bite the ever loving out of me. And it was one of those things though, right? Like you were like, okay, if I pull away now and I let her know that she won this battle, she's going to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So she would bite me, and I would just sit there and I like, not rudely like apply pressure, but I'd put it in more like, you want it, make sure you actually get it this time. Like, get to me. Let's go. Oh, that sounds bad. Like someone's gonna take a clip from this, and I'm gonna get in trouble for it. But like, it was one of those things, like if you're gonna bite me, actually bite me.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna back away from it, because I want you to learn.
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to get what you want out of biting me.
Yeah.
So give it up.
Yeah, they learn that because some of the babies that we have are really bitey, and there's times I'll put my hand in. If they bite, I'll just keep my hand there and I'll just do whatever I need with the other hand, and that could be latched on for 25 seconds, 30 seconds, and I'm like, "Are you going to give up soon, or are you just going to stay there?" You know, and they stay there, and I'm like, "All right, I'm going to move on to the next time. You're hanging on." And I'll wrap around my hand, and then finally they'll let go, and then I'm like, "Here you go back into your tub," you know. But yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's a process. You know, they're animals, so they're gonna bite. Yes, snakes bite. Yes, dogs bite. Yes, cats bite. They're animals.
I love that
So,
question.
They like to bite my nails, and they think
Can
that
it
it
bite
hurts me.
Can it bite me?
It has a mouth.
Your kid will bite you. Yeah,
Well,
hasn't your
we
kid
get
bit you?
that we get that question all the time, and it's really when we have like a parent or a child that wants to hold one of the snakes, especially when we bring like some of our big kids to show and hold and educate, things like that. They're like, "Is it going to bite me?" And I look at them and I'm like, "Anything with teeth can bite you."
Yes, and we brought one that bites to a show. For
And I
everybody
did.
To be
I
around.
brought one that will bite you, just so that you can kind of see what it'll feel like. No,
Yeah, no.
so it's
She did it.
they.
She did it.
So they're always like, "Well, is it going to bite me?" And I say, "Anything with teeth can bite you. I could sit here and bite you." I was like, "But we work with our animals so much and handle every single animal in our home that we're not going to bring something that's going to bite you or that's going to have a temperament that's going to be stressed out or, you know, defensive. We're just not going to do that. We're here to educate you and show you that these animals are good animals."
Right.
It's like, I'm not going to bring one of our nippy babies and pull it out and be like, "Yes, hold this one, please."
Yeah, no, we don't. We will not.
It's just not what we do.
Yeah.
So
We don't function that way.
no. They do like to bite my nails though, when they think that it hurts me, and then they'll like clamp down and not even open their mouth, and I'm just sitting there like, "What's going on here?" And they're just literally like chomped on my nail,
And they stay there.
and they stay there.
It's fun.
It is
So-
what it is.
Going in with your advice, like you've had advice that you've been given, and you've had scenarios that kind of you've learned good, you've learned bad from. For those that are wanting to come in, what advice would you give them with the experience that you've gained?
Don't be afraid to reach out to people.
Mhm. Always, like, we're big on homework, like we said, but if you're gonna get an animal, our biggest thing is like we told you, we'll vet people. We'll we'll get a vibe off of them, and we'll ask certain questions like, "Oh, what do you have at home for an enclosure?" Well, I got a 4x2, and I had a boa in there, and I'm like, okay, they've dealt with a bigger animal, they have the experience a little bit, they can understand, and if they get a hatchling, baby, it's it's a question that's it's always comes up in the retic world. Does that a retic's not for everybody. They're not for everybody, but they are for responsible people. There are responsible people. Just because a guy's 25 years old and he weighs 135 pounds, he could be more responsible than a guy who comes to our table and is 250 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And he's a lot smarter. And we put our animals in homes where we know they're going to live and be well taken care of, and the people have done their homework and they understand.
Education and experience.
Education, that's our biggest thing, because we just don't sell and then give tips later. We try to have people do that on their own. So when they call me, they'll say, "Hey, we have our enclosure at 86 at one side, and the other side's at 78, but it's like dry." And we're like, "All right, well, if you need to mist your whatever substrate you have down a lot more, do it twice a day instead of once." But at least they're on that path of what they know they have there and what's going on. Right. So it's not something like, "Well, I have 95 on one side and the other side 68. No, that's not gonna work. We need some people who have some sort of knowledge, and we like to do that with people. We got to make sure they have their knowledge, And some people we've turned away and said, "Hey, listen, go get a boa, learn how to handle a boa, get a little bit of size on it, learn how to work with it. You'll be able to learn how to read that animal eventually in time. It's going to be the same way when you buy a baby retic, And it's, some people might be like, "You can't sell them to everybody." Who am I to say that you can't have a pet that you want? But just do your homework. Make sure you're ready
100.
for this. And there's some people who tell us, oh man, that's a little too much for us. I'm sorry, we can't do it. Oh, okay, perfect. And they'll walk away and they're like, man, we didn't think that this was much, this much is involved. And we get people like that and we look at each other and we're like, sigh of relief. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all right, perfect. They understood. They did their homework. We gave them a little more information than they were able to get. Now they're like, oh, we can't really handle that.
And then we've had the opposite end of the spectrum where we've told people, look, we really respect you wanting to get a retic, but we want you to have more education and we don't feel comfortable selling to you. And then they get upset. Oh, well, you won't sell to me. And well, I'm here and I'm giving you money. Just take the money. And we're like, we're sorry, we're not going to sell to you. So then they go and buy from this other person and then they have a bad experience.
They walk by with their little dish.
Have a bad
They come back and they
with the
smile,
animal.
and then a month later you see it on freaking classifieds.
Either that or
They have a
either
bad
that
experience
or
or it's
Retic
dead.
Nation.
Or it's up for sale somewhere.
Or on
something
Retic
bad has
Nation
happened
asking
to it.
questions.
So it's
So yeah,
we've had both ends of the spectrum, and
but-
we understand that we're not going to please everyone, out there. But
that's not our job. Our animals are our job.
Yeah.
The care of our animals that we produce and we help, our friends sell. That's what our responsibility is, the animals. So I'm sorry if you get butt hurt because I told you you're not responsible enough. You're not, sorry. I'm the one breeding here. We're the ones working with the animals. Sorry if you some people aren't cut out for things. Not my fault,
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I had a hard time at this last show was like, so many people ask me, well, what's the lifespan of this animal? I was like, you're looking at 20 to potentially 40 years if you take care of it right. I mean, I know plenty of pythons that have lived well into their 20s.
Yeah.
Sometimes longer. And they look at me like I'm crazy. And then there was a few people where I was just like, it's not my animal that I was selling. Like they were interested in my buddy's animal that was there with me and vending with me, but they were talking to me. And I was like, I looked at my buddy and he looked at me and I was like, I wouldn't give my animal to these people. And
no,
luckily he listened, but it's just one of those things. I completely feel that with you guys. It's like, if I took the time to raise the parents up, even if I didn't, like if I brought them in and I took care of those parents and I made those babies, or I brought them in and I'm reselling them, I still took care of them for months and months. Like they mean something to me. I'm not going to just let someone take them and not take care of them.
Correct.
And it's hard. And so the fact that you guys are openly willing to say no to people is like, I love it. Like people might not, but I freaking love it.
And then some people slip the radar. I mean, we're not going to lie.
You're going to find
I'm
them.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And we'll look at each other and we're like, God damn it.
or we'll get a message and we're like, oh my God.
Oh,
what did we do?
I've found animals here locally that have gone through like 4 or 5 homes. And it's like, well, if I knew that wouldn't have left my house.
Yeah.
Like, luckily, it hasn't been my scenario, but like, there's some people where it's happened. And it's just like, man, like, I understand it, but at the same time, think about the life of that animal, too. Like,
we had a scenario recently.
Yeah, it's been through like 5, 6 owners, a couple of years. Like, that's no life for them to have.
Yeah, we had a nasty scenario recently. Of course, I'm not going to put anyone out there, but it was 3 or 4 snakes that we had sold to a person. Things happened; they couldn't keep them anymore, so they went to another owner. And the husbandry was wrong. The feedings were wrong. The
closures were wrong.
These snakes were so malnourished that these snakes that should be close to 8 to 10 feet because it's been a year and a half, we're still under 5 feet.
Yeah.
And it very sad, very sad.
It hurts. It sucks. You only hope that people would actually reach out back to you and say, listen, I can't, these can't stay in my house anymore. What can I do? Can you find somebody for us? And we've had people do that. We have a few animals now that are here that because people, have gone through divorces or have gone through, you know, family issues and, you know, again, economy, something like that. And they've been like, you know, can you guys take it back? And we're like, yeah. And then, you know, and we'll make sure everything's good with the animal. We'll feed them and, you know, we'll tell them, listen, you know, we don't want you to lose out on your money. You know, can we sell it? And, you know, as long as you're okay with it, you know, and they're like, yeah. And then we're like, we'll give you, you know, most of the money that you deserve back. You know, I'm not going to say, well, I'll take your animal and then that's it. I don't call you anymore. It's, you know, we'll take it, you know, and we'll sell it. And if you're okay with 60-40, 60 your end, 40 ours, you know, we'll get your money back to help you out, because we know obviously there's a reason you can't keep it, because it's money most of the time. So we're willing to help people out, you know, and we work that way too. So, and we've had a few people who've done it.
We actually have, she became a good friend of ours, and she had an issue with living circumstances. She had bought 3 retics from us, and she was heartbroken that she had to give them up.
Yeah.
And she came over and she's like, I cried on the way here. I really don't want to get rid of them. And I'm just so thankful you guys will take them back. We had told her, you know, we'll split the money with you. Of course, that's not a problem. And I could tell in her eyes that she was so distraught about this one snake. And it was the first one that she had bought from us. And she grew so attached to it. And I looked at her and I said, I'm going to keep that one upstairs with our babies for you. And when you're ready, you can come get her back and she'll be just fine. And so we have her here, and she messaged us last week and she's like, I got the new setup. Everything is good to go. And hopefully she'll be able to come home soon. I said, whenever you're ready, she's here.
We'll keep her. It's no big deal.
That's awesome.
So she's even upstairs with all of our personals. I was like, she's going to be just fine. She's right here.
So I don't want to close it off going down like little negativity road. I don't think that's, not that that was negative. I think it's great what y'all do, but like, I'm not going to end it on something sad. I can't.
Right. No.
Can't do that. So we're going to look at some pretty snakes from DNT, and hopefully my kids aren't gonna squeal. They're having a Taylor moment, if you know what I mean. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm so glad I couldn't see your face on that one.
I was doing it with you.
Oh man. So yeah, let's go through this. There's a bunch of upset Dax faces. You see something you want to talk about? Let's stop it.
Well, actually, I mean, this is the morph market list we have on now. We just sold, I think, 4 in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got to update some of this, but yeah, these are the animals we have. The genetic stripe up in the left-hand corner, that's one of ours. The Mochino is one of ours as well. Those were the 2 breedings we did for our first 2 clutches that we ever done. So those are from those clutches. What's the other one? The Sunfire. That's that orange. Sunfire. Yeah, the orange glow Sunfire.
Cody and Aubrey's.
That's Cody and Aubrey's. Yeah, that one. That's
snake.
Yep, that's produced by CNA, which is Cody Allen and Aubrey. So that's their animal as well. And the rest are, I'm trying to think, the Mochino down on the bottom on hold, that Phantom, that beautiful animal, I think is insane. Yeah, that's Keith Stanboss. Yeah, that's Keith Stanboss. You know, we work with him as well. We have a few animals from Shane Costello as well. It's just we don't have enough. I got to up my
we got to up our membership
for Morph Market because we have like the.
But the thing is we don't sell a lot on Morph Market as much as we do on social media or in shows. So we haven't really seen the point in upping the membership and spending the extra $250 for an annual when we don't really utilize it as much. Now, if we start utilizing it more and we're like, all right, we've sold 5 in 1 month off Morph Market, I really think we need to up that membership. Then yeah, we'll do it. But until we get to that point, there's no point in us spending the extra money when it's not being utilized.
Yeah, it's right now 90% of our sales are, I want to say 85% of our sales are through.
Oh, look, it's Dax's face.
Word of mouth.
All over
the place. Dax's face.
Same face.
Which reminds me to tell you, and I tell this to everyone, and I'm going to say it here because it is so true. Everywhere that Dax and I go, people will see us and they're like, you're Dax from DNT. And I'm standing right next to him, Feely, right next to him. And I'm like, I'm the fucking T. Hello. I'm the T.
Yeah,
I
but
am
you
the
always
T.
hide out.
No,
There's
it's
one.
no. It's
got
not that I
one.
hide out.
You got one cameo
MJ.
shot.
Okay. It's not that I hide out. But do you know when he does all of his videos, Feely?
You're working while he's talking. It's good.
He is at work, sitting in the truck, scrolling through Instagram because he's a superintendent and he can. And I'm at work in an office, so I can't do it.
Yeah, I have my down moments, so I do that when I can.
So there hasn't been as many videos because he's kind of slowed down on the videos. But
it's always the thing because I keep telling her, do your own. Yeah.
But I don't have time to do my own. That's my thing. And then I also don't want to do a video if I don't have my face on. So
my wife's the same way. Like that's the first thing she does when she wakes up is like, I gotta put my face on. And I was like,
yeah,
you got a face on. Like, just use your face.
Yeah, so we put everything out here. I mean, you see we're selling. You see who we work with, like that picture you just passed that had what is it? Oh yeah,
that's Gavin.
The middle one with all the 3 labels in there.
Yeah,
that was for Schaumburg. Was it Schaumburg, that one? I don't remember. Yeah, that was Schaumburg, I think. Yeah, yep.
So that's Amanda and Gavin within Your Face Exotic, or
In Your Face Exotics, and then it's
A&B Exotics is Aubrey.
Yeah, we were at Schaumburg with them. Actually, I went there to just help out, just to. But we promote everybody who's out there and whatever they're doing. So especially our friends, Shane Costello's another person we deal with. We always post his stuff. We're always helping each other out, man. We try to help everybody as much as we can and do what we can. Those are our cages.
So let me ask here, because you got 2 girls on paper, and then you got what, Coco Blocks?
Yeah, we got Coco Blocks. Yeah,
down there. Yeah. Okay. Why the difference?
We were waiting for Coco Blocks to get delivered.
Yeah.
Okay. So you prefer them to be on Coco?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like Coco Blocks.
That it holds humidity.
I like that. I think it's funny so many people put them on just paper. Not saying there's anything wrong with it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
I will say
it is a pain in the ass for us.
When they pee a gallon and a half
and it sticks,
that paper does nothing.
And for me, the paper doesn't hold humidity. How are you supposed to keep 60% humidity when the paper doesn't hold? And for me, the substrate gives that more natural effect for them. It helps with shed. It helps not only hold the humidity for shed, but when they're going through and shedding, it's helping. It's breaking everything off as it would naturally in, their forest or jungle, wherever they are.
We change our Coco Blocks, even on the big kids, we change, usually on the 6x2.5, it takes about 2 blocks to fill it up. And we change out those blocks every 2 months. We don't, we spot clean as normal. Our spot cleanings every day. We don't ever stop cleaning, literally. And, we change out the Coco Blocks all the time. So
there's our Motley Jag right there. That silver one.
That one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So we always, we try to do what we can, but the paper, I just can't do it, man. It's just a pain.
It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, he's going to be a daddy this year, so.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
He's kind of a slow daddy. He doesn't really know what to do. I think he was trying to hump her neck.
Did he do?
So, yeah.
That's pretty. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's nice. Yeah, and he's a jag, and look, no wobble, no nothing. He's perfectly fine. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, again, we put our stuff out there. We have, we try to, again, I follow the same thing as Miguel Garcia, we try to put everything out there. That's what else. Eric Lee right there in the middle. That's
such an awesome guy.
That dude is the fucking best guy. I will tell you. One of the nicest people you'll ever meet, man. I mean, it was great. It was
King of Super Dwarfs.
Yeah, the King of Snows.
And Super Dwarfs.
Yeah, but he's amazing, dude. Greatest guy. And the same way, we'll talk to you
for hours
on snakes, man. and not shy away.
So let's kind of just wrap it up. Besides the cool animals, you guys have kind of a, how do I want to put this? Kind of a t-shirt club thing going on right now. It's almost like you're everywhere without being there.
Well,
So
I'm just kidding.
what inspired the t-shirt craze that's going on right now?
We originally just wanted to have like our own like brand. And with that brand, when we did our first show, we were like, we're not half-assing our first show. We had banners, we had retractable banners, we had table runners, we had tablecloths, I had stickers, I had business cards, and I had t-shirts. And for us to get to this logo, it took me making 5 other logos before this because I couldn't make up my mind, and then he couldn't make up his mind, or he'd come to me, babe, I had this awesome idea, and you could do this with this, and just kind of make it work out in your way that you do all this crazy shit. Just do it. And I'm like, all right, let me just do it and snap my fingers. And this logo, no, it does not work like that. So then it would be 3 to 4 hours on Photoshop trying to build this logo and graphic designing and doing it because I made all of our logos. And so finally we came up with this one because he wanted to have this super cool logo, which kind of followed a wrestling club. And so I kind of took the idea from there and designed it with the snake and the hook and the mice and did my own thing with it. And everyone just loved it. And I guess it's because I've never seen another snake logo like this. So
it's kind of cool. You get everybody. You get
Unique.
People from the military because of the chevrons. They're like, oh, it's our military type, type theme. And I'm like, yeah, not really, but okay, if you want to say it is, yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, if you want to call it a combat snake, go for it.
But yeah, it was just something, that I wanted to do, and I thought it would fit well and be well received, and it's been well received. So, and it's, we just, we take a percentage of it and donate it to USARC too. So everybody gets to, play the game and, help out USARC at the same time because, we're super huge fans of theirs. And, when we got to touch with Phil through a friend of ours, and he was like, yeah, man, you guys can put my logo all over your shirts, keep it clean, but, and we were like, yeah, no problem. So, he's got his couple of, that we've produced for him already and stuff like that. But, it's cool. We love the t-shirts. So we just keep making them, we'll be making more soon in January. We just try to tweak things here and there a little bit. So
there's never the same shirt.
It's never the same shirt. So we try to do
that way people want them.
Mm-hmm. I would like to, and I'm thinking about doing that. But yeah, it's we got to figure out first what we'll tweak on the newer shirts, and then
I think the new ones I want to put the year.
The year what?
Like just like 2023.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So like the first ones we just did the front logo and that was it. The second shirts had the side arm patch. And then the third shirts had the front, the side, and then on the back we had NARBC and USARC. Nice and big. That's our largest show. USARC, of course, everyone needs to go support it. If you're not a member yet, please go become a member at USARC. It's $40 a year for a bronze membership. It's not much. You guys can afford it. Please do it.
Links for it down below already.
So yeah, it's just we'll tweak it again, and something else will be new, and we'll try to have it before Arlington. Like this one we just had. We wanted it for Arlington. We ordered it before Arlington, but we sold out before Arlington. So
we purchased.
That's not a bad problem to have.
It's not.
We purchased 65 shirts.
Yeah,
and we had pre-sold, I think, 45 to 50 of them.
Listen.
So,
and now I think I
got the logistics person over there. I was just playing. I'm just playing. The sass coming through the screen. Oh man! All right, so I like it. I like what y'all are doing. I think I think you're going to take Retics to another freaking level with the way you guys are working it, the way you're doing so many collabs with everybody, the way that your passion just shines through in every aspect that you're doing it. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing some of your love
Thank
tonight.
you for having us on, man.
Of course.
If you guys want to get a hold of them, this is your chance. They're going to tell you how. How do we get a hold of you?
Instagram, Facebook is DNT Retics. No underscores, no crazy
DNT
shit.
Retics.
Just DNT Retics, all one word. You can also email us, dntretics@gmail.com. And then we have all of our contact information listed on Instagram and Facebook. So we do have a Google phone number on there. It goes to both Dax and I. So someone will always be able to answer. And in our Instagram and Facebook messengers, you will get both of us. Just FYI, do not be afraid. If it has punctuation and capitalization, it is me. If it does not, it is him.
I'm not gonna lie, it threw me off for a little bit. I was like, okay, this is Dax, this is Taylor. And then it got to the
You'll
point where
figure
it's
it
just
out.
like, hey Taylor, do this. Hey Dax, do this.
Yeah. Or if we're both in the conversation, or like you guys type something and Dax is there and he wants me to see it, he'll be like, hey babe, look. And you're like, what? And he's actually talking to me. He's typing in the text.
Yeah, people are like, who are you talking to?
Thinking
I'm
that-
like, she's on here too.
So he pulled that one too, and that threw me off for a minute. I was like, I'm just gonna be quiet. Like, I'm not gonna rub that one in, but he totally sent me a message that was meant for you. And he was like calling me babe and all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get it.
I'm like,
He's
she's
gonna
on
get
the
it this
she's
one.
on the same page with us. So.
I'm there too. It
She's
just
on
doesn't
there.
send me notifications when he sends messages coming from the same person, and he doesn't remember this. So don't be alarmed. It will be both of us. You'll get both of us in the chat, whether or not it's at the same time or an hour later if I pop in and say something. I try not to intervene on his conversations too much if he's got something going. But sometimes it happens, and then he's like, babe, stay out. But I don't, because I don't listen all the time.
Micromanage. No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna quit before Jay beats me up next time I see him. Y'all, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a
That was
great
awesome.
time. I
Thanks,
enjoy
dude.
all the time I get with y'all.
Thanks, John. Of course.
Yes,
Really
man.
enjoyed it.
When's your next show, dude?
December at McQueenie again.
Oh yeah, we won't be able to make that one. We had one already scheduled for that, so we like going
That's
down
okay.
there.
Well,
I can't, you know.
McQueenie was a good show.
Yeah, we had fun time there.
Yeah.
It was good.
So I'll be
I
at
like that.
McQueenie in December. I'm taking November off. I think I need it. And then we'll hopefully be at the NARBC in February. Still waiting
Awesome.
on that one.
You will. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll be there either way. It's just whether I have a table or not. So
Tell him you want to be next to D&T.
Yeah,
Too
if you
easy.
did with Bob, you did. If you went with Bob, you're good.
Too easy. So we'll do that. If I got animals available, we'll be dealing animals. If I don't have enough to cover a full table, we'll do animals, and I'll probably bring an extra table and do podcast, like little mini podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hell
That's
yeah.
cool.
Do it.
Either way, we'll be working something. So.
Nice.
it.
That's good. Badass.
But
Nice.
all right, I hope you all appreciated this one. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And next week, we're gonna hopefully be learning more about Morph Market. So I don't utilize it enough, but we should have John Lehman on next
John's
week.
coming on. Nice.
Nice.
Good
Hope
stuff.
you guys tune in
Good
for that one.
you. Yes.
Enjoy your weekend. You all stay blessed, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, brother.
Bye.
Thank you.